The Chase Sapphire Preferred and the Chase Sapphire Reserve have undoubtedly become two of the most popular travel credit cards that can allow you to maximize the redemption value that you get from your credit card points when you redeem those points for travel. However, the problem is Chase only allows you to get one Chase Sapphire card at a time, which makes it even more crucial to make sure that you make the right choice on which Chase Sapphire card to get. But don't worry, because in this video, I'm going to do a full breakdown on the Chase Sapphire Preferred and the Chase Sapphire Reserve, in which I break down everything you need to know about these credit cards in 2023. And ultimately, I'll discuss which of these credit cards is going to be the best fit for you based on your own situation. So without further ado, let's jump right into the video. Okay, so if we jump into the comparison, let's start with the annual fees. The Chase Sapphire Preferred is the mid-tier credit card within the Chase ecosystem, and so it has an annual fee of $95. Then the Chase Sapphire Reserve is the luxury high-end credit card within the Chase ecosystem, and so it has a much higher annual fee of $550. However, despite the Chase Sapphire Reserve having a much higher annual fee, the Sapphire Reserve and Sapphire Preferred actually have the same exact welcome bonus of being able to receive 60,000 Chase points if you're able to spend $4,000 or more in the first 3 months. At the very minimum, those 60,000 points are going to be worth at least $600 in value when you redeem those points for cash back, which is actually more than the annual fees on both of these cards. So you will 100% be in the positive for both of these cards in year one. And both the Sapphire Reserve and the Sapphire Preferred have actually had higher welcome bonus offers in the past, but regardless, 60,000 bonus points is still a solid offer. And despite both of these cards having the same amount of points that you get for the welcome bonus, the Sapphire Reserve is actually going to make those points worth more due to some higher redemption value capabilities that I will discuss later in this video. Next, both Sapphire cards are travel-related cards, so they aren't necessarily known for their point multipliers, but still, both the Sapphire Reserve and the Sapphire Preferred do have some solid point multipliers, especially in travel-related categories. To start, the point multipliers on the Chase Sapphire Preferred are going to be for 5x back on travel booked through the Chase portal, 5x back on Lyft, 3x back on dining, 3x back on online grocery store purchases, 3x back on select streaming services, 2x back on all other travel, and then 1x back on everything else. In comparison, the point multipliers on the Chase Sapphire Reserve are going to be for 10x back on hotels and car rentals that are booked through the Chase travel portal, 10x back on Lyft, 5x back on flights that are booked through the Chase travel portal, 3x back on dining, 3x back on all other travel, and then 1x back on everything else. So a couple things to note about those point multipliers. Both the Chase Sapphire Preferred and the Chase Sapphire Reserve are going to give you some solid multipliers for specific travel that is booked through the Chase portal. And then if you do frequently use ride-sharing services, both of these cards are going to give you a solid multiplier for Lyft purchases. But overall, the Sapphire Reserve will definitely take the edge in terms of the point multipliers, with the Sapphire Reserve getting a higher multiplier for hotels and car rentals that are booked through the Chase travel portal, as well as in the other travel category and for Lyft purchases. Again though, the Sapphire Reserve does have a much higher annual fee, so it's going to be expected that the Sapphire Reserve is going to have some additional benefits. And since both the Sapphire Preferred and the Sapphire Reserve are travel-related credit cards, the most important aspect on these cards is going to be their travel benefits. So if we start with discussing some of the travel benefits on the Chase Sapphire Preferred, the first major travel benefit that you'll get with this card is that you'll get a $50 hotel credit for any hotels that you purchase through the Chase travel portal. This credit is going to be super useful because all you really need to do is travel at least one time per year, or even go on a date night and just stay one night at a hotel that you booked through the Chase travel portal, and then you can lower your effective fee on the Sapphire Preferred down from $95 to just $45. Then if we talk about some opportunities to get higher value for the points that you earn on your Sapphire Preferred, let's talk about some of the redemption value capabilities. First, the Sapphire Preferred is going to allow you to get 25% more value when you book travel through the Chase travel portal. So basically, you can use the Chase portal to book any sort of travel like flights or hotels. And then for instance, the 60,000 points that you get as part of the welcome bonus would actually be worth $750 instead of the $600 in value that you would normally get if you just redeem those points for cash back. But the Chase Sapphire Preferred offers an even better redemption value capability, as you'll be able to transfer all of your Chase points out to Chase's travel partners at a 1-to-1 ratio, which includes a lot of really popular hotels and airlines. A good rule of thumb here is that when you're able to utilize travel partners, so you transfer your points from Chase out to Chase's travel partners, then you can get at least 2 cents per point in redemption value, which would mean that those same 60,000 points as part of the welcome bonus would actually give you a value of $1,200. Beyond that, on your account anniversary every year, the Sapphire Preferred is going to give you bonus points that are equal to 10% of your total purchases from the prior year. And then you'll also get a complimentary DoorDash Dash Pass subscription, an Instacart Plus subscription, and then some other travel benefits such as no foreign transaction fees, purchase protection, and primary car rental insurance. Okay, now let's move on to the Sapphire Reserve, which again does have a much higher annual fee than the Sapphire Preferred, so it would definitely make sense if the Sapphire Reserve had much better travel benefits. The first key travel benefit on the Chase Sapphire Reserve is that you'll get a $300 annual travel credit for any travel purchases that are charged to your Chase Sapphire Reserve. The really nice thing about this credit is that the $300 annual travel credit does not only apply to purchases that you make using the Chase Travel Portal, but instead you can use that $300 credit for literally any travel purchases that you make with any platform. So since if you're considering getting the Chase Sapphire Reserve, then you probably travel at least a couple times a year. And since the $300 credit is so flexible and easy to use, then I definitely think it's feasible for pretty much everyone who gets this card to utilize the entire $300 credit. And if you're able to do so, you can lower your effective fee on the Sapphire Reserve down from $550 to just $250. Then, just like on the Chase Sapphire Preferred, the Sapphire Reserve will also allow you to get more value for your points when you book travel through the Chase Travel Portal, except on the Chase Sapphire Preferred, you're only getting 25% more value, but on the Chase Sapphire Reserve, you'll actually get 50% more value when you redeem travel through the Chase Portal. So for that same 60,000 Chase points that you get as part of the welcome bonus, with the Sapphire Reserve, if you use those points to redeem travel through the Chase Portal, then that would be $900 in value, instead of just the $600 in value that you would get from cashback. But another similarity to the Sapphire Preferred is that on the Sapphire Reserve, you'll also have the opportunity to transfer your Chase points out to Chase's travel partners, which could get you $1,200 in value from those 60,000 points. So if you have the option to do so, then I always recommend the option of transferring out your points to travel partners. Next, just like on the Chase Sapphire Preferred, you'll also get a DoorDash Dash Pass subscription, but unlike the Sapphire Preferred, with the Sapphire Reserve, you'll also get $5 in DoorDash credits every single month, which can add up to $60 in credits for the entire year. So if you are someone who uses DoorDash at least once per month, and so you can take advantage of these credits, then you can lower your effective fee on the Sapphire Reserve even lower, down from $250 down to just $190. The Chase Sapphire Reserve will also give you a complimentary Priority Pass Select membership, which will be really valuable to you, especially if you don't already get airport lounge access with another credit card. Plus, with the Chase Sapphire Reserve, you'll also get some other benefits that can add to the luxury of this card. So for instance, you'll get a membership to the Luxury Hotel and Resort Collection, which is basically a collection of over 900 high-end and luxurious hotels throughout the world. And the Sapphire Reserve gives you some added benefits when you use your Chase Sapphire Reserve to book a stay at one of these properties. And then finally, the Sapphire Reserve will also give you some other similar benefits to the Sapphire Preferred, such as no foreign transaction fees, primary car rental insurance, and purchase protection. But okay, so with all of that being said, the central purpose of this video is to figure out whether you should get the Chase Sapphire Preferred or Chase Sapphire Reserve. So which of these cards should you get? Well, this really just comes down to whether the Chase Sapphire Reserve gives you enough added benefits to make up for having an annual fee that's over $400 more than the Sapphire Preferred. So one situation to where the Chase Sapphire Reserve would make the most sense for you is if you're a Chase loyalist, because the Chase Sapphire Reserve is the highest end and most luxurious Chase credit card. So the natural progression with Chase credit cards would be to eventually get the Chase Sapphire Reserve, because that's the highest end Chase credit card. And that's again, if you're a Chase loyalist and you don't want to look at any other high-end credit cards, and instead you just want to stick with the Chase ecosystem. The next reason that the Chase Sapphire Reserve would be a good fit for you is if you have a consistent use case through the Chase Travel Portal, because the Chase Sapphire Reserve gives you the most benefits for that. It has a higher percentage redemption value than the Chase Sapphire Preferred. And so if you have something like, I don't know, a ride-sharing service or a hotel or something that you frequently use the travel portal for, then the Sapphire Reserve could be a good option for that. The next reason that the Sapphire Reserve would be the best fit is if you want some added luxury. So the Sapphire Reserve has some more luxurious benefits, I guess, overall than the Sapphire Preferred, because you'll get access for one to the Hotel and Resort Collection, which again is probably only going to be if you're a high-end traveler who stays at those luxurious resorts anyways. But having the opportunity to get added benefits at one of those luxurious resorts, and then also having the opportunity to get airport lounge access through Priority Pass, and also access to Sapphire experiences, can really add to the luxurious added benefits that some people want. And just to speak on that Priority Pass airport lounge access, I actually don't have the Chase Sapphire Reserve, but I do get Priority Pass lounge access with a different credit card. And I know sometimes Priority Pass lounges can be given a bad rap because they're really not that good, but it still is nice to be able to, like, every time you're about to fly out somewhere, you can stay at one of these airport lounges and then, I don't know, get yogurt or a drink or whatever. Just free added benefits that, you know, it's better to have them than not have them. And finally, the last reason that you should get the Chase Sapphire Reserve would be if you travel a lot and maybe you use booking platforms like Airbnb, because when you use a booking platform like Airbnb, you can still get value from the $300 annual travel credit, which normally a lot of times travel credits with cards, you have to specifically use those travel portals. But again, with the Sapphire Reserve, that $300 credit can be used for any travel purchases. And a lot of times Airbnbs can be the way to go. I know sometimes it's controversial to discuss hotel versus Airbnb, but then on top of that, you also get a higher multiplier for that all other travel category, higher than the Sapphire Preferred. You also get 3x back on all other travel. So again, if you're traveling a lot, then you can get benefits from the Sapphire Reserve especially. Okay, but there's a reason that I would say the vast majority of people should get the Chase Sapphire Preferred, and probably the number one reason that you should do so is simply because the Sapphire Preferred is a significantly lower cost alternative. Honestly, there's not really anything that's super special about the Sapphire Preferred in comparison to the Sapphire Reserve, but the annual fee is over $400 lower, and you still get a lot of the same benefits. For instance, with the Sapphire Preferred, you get the same redemption value capabilities, which number one is going to be able to transfer your Chase points out to Chase's travel partners, which is the number one reason that I think everyone who uses Chase credit cards needs to have one of these Sapphire cards in the first place. And if that's the main reason that you need one of these Sapphire cards, then I definitely think it's probably the better option to just go with the Sapphire Preferred, save yourself $400 every year, and still be able to transfer your points out to travel partners. With the Sapphire Preferred, you'll also get a higher redemption value for travel that you book through the Chase portal, which I know is lower than the redemption value you'll get with the Sapphire Reserve. But again, unless you have a very specific use case for using the travel portal, then why would you do that when you can get a higher redemption value for transferring your points out to Chase's travel partners? And then next up, the Sapphire Preferred gets a lot of the same travel protections that you would get on the Sapphire Reserve. So you'll still get primary car rental insurance, trip cancellation insurance, purchase protection, and no foreign transaction fees. And then finally, the last reason that you should stick with the Chase Sapphire Preferred is because it's just simply way easier to get approved. So especially if you're not super far along in your credit card journey, then it might just make more sense and be better and more feasible for you to get the Sapphire Preferred at least first. And then with the Sapphire Preferred, you can also get free authorized users. So if you wanted to add like your significant other or a sibling or someone like that to your Sapphire Preferred, and there actually are a lot of benefits for doing so, which I did talk about in a recent video, so I'll link that right above. But basically, you can do that for no cost. Whereas on the Sapphire Reserve, I think you're charged $75 for each authorized user that you add. Okay, so my final thoughts on this comparison is that the Chase Sapphire Preferred and Chase Sapphire Reserve are very similar and get a lot of the same benefits. So for the vast majority of people, it's probably going to be the better choice to just stick with the Chase Sapphire Preferred and save yourself over $400 every year and still get the same redemption value capabilities and a lot of the same overall benefits. I know for some people, the Sapphire Reserve might be the better option. Again, especially because of some of these situations that I discussed earlier. So if you're a Chase loyalist or maybe you want some more luxury with your card and reasons like that. But I do think the decision to stick with the Chase Sapphire Preferred for most people is made easier when you consider that there's a lot of other high-end credit cards that are out there, like the AMEX Platinum or Capital One Venture X, that I actually think are more valuable than the Sapphire Reserve. So in my opinion, it's a better combo to get the Sapphire Preferred as a mid-tier card and then get a high-end card with a different credit card issuer. And by the way, I did just do a full video on the Capital One Venture X, which I think is the #1 credit card for 2023. So if you want to see that video, then I'll put that up on the screen right now. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I really appreciate all of you watching, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day.